बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम नहमदुहु व नुसल्ली अला रसूलिहिल करीम अम्मा बाद. We are reading from this Risala of Shaikh Wali Raslan ad-Dimashqi rahmatullahi alayhi, translated by Mukhtar Holland or Muhtar Holland. We've read up to number 25. Moving on, Shaykh writes, Al-muhibbu anfasuhu hikmatun wal-mahbubu anfasuhu qudratun. As for the lover, his breath is wisdom, hikmah. And as for the loved one, his breath is power, qudra. क्या समझ पड़े? कुछ भी नहीं. Again, al-muhibbu anfasuhu hikmatun. As for the lover, his anfas, breathing, is hikmat. असल में anfas here means alfaz, words, because speaking and breathing is simultaneous. You speak whilst you're breathing. So anfasuhu means alfazuhu. So when a person loves Allah, then his breathing, meaning his alfaz, everything he says is full of hikmat and wisdom. The lover's words and his talk and speech is filled with hikmat, wisdom. Wal mahbub anfasuhu qudratun. As for the one loved by Allah, then his breathing, meaning his alfaz, are qudrat of Allah. When he says something, it shows the power of Allah. Allah loves him, so Allah's qudrat comes in his words. I once read Shaykh Yunus Sahab rahmatullahi alayhi say regarding Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He said, वो बोलते नहीं थे, अल्लाह बोलते थे उनकी जबान पर. He didn't speak, Allah used to speak on his tongue. And this is from the ayat of Surah An-Najm. وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. He does not speak on his own accord. It is direct revelation which is revealed to him. And Quran is revealed in both meanings and words, ma'na and alfaz. And Hadith Sharif is revealed in ma'na. The alfaz might be from Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam, but the alfaz are also inspired in the heart of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. This is the meaning, ma yantiqu anil hawa. Meaning, he does not speak regarding the deen. A day-to-day conversation, khana khilao, pani liao, this is personal need. But when he says something about deen, then that's all based on revelation, and those matters Allah speaks on his tongue. When he is delivering khutbah on Jummah, or is delivering bayan, he's advising, admonishing, nasiha, then he's not speaking, Allah is speaking on his tongue. This is al-muhibbu anfasuhu hikmatun. First stage. A person loves Allah. He tries to do everything for the sake of Allah. Then when he says something, his words are filled with wisdom. As for the one who reaches the higher stage, and after being ashiq, he becomes mahbub. Allah begins to love him. As in the hadith, Inni uhibbu fulanan fa ahibbahu. O Jibreel, I love so and so. He is my mahbub. You also love him. So when a person becomes Allah's mahbub, then anfasuhu khudratun. Whatever he says will be the power of Allah. His words will be powerful. Allah will speak on his tongue. They will penetrate deep into the heart, and they will show the qudrat and the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the higher stage. Al-ibadat lil-mu'awazat wal-muhabba lil-qurubat. Formal acts of worship are for recompense, and love is for nearness. क्या समझ पड़ी? Formal acts of worship are for recompense, and love is for nearness. Meaning, when you do formal acts of worship like namaz, roza, zakat, hajj, you stand up in front of Allah, you bow down, you prostrate, you read Quran, you read tasbihat, you keep roza, you give zakat, sadaqah, khairat, lillah, fitra, qurbani, animal sacrifice. These are formal acts of worship. They are done for mu'awazat. Mu'awaza, recompense, jaza. This is why general public normally ask, Maulana Sahab, what do I get for this? What do I get for 2 rakat namaz? What do I get for doing sajda? When I used to have assembly in Zakaria, kids used to ask questions. Maulana Sahab, what is the benefit of sajda? What do I get if I do sajda? The girl asked, small young girl, what do I get if I do sajda? So I had to explain the hadith. عليك بكثرة السجود فإنك لن تسجد لله سجدة إلا رفعك الله بها درجة وحط عنك بها خطيئة. With every sajda, a rank is raised and a sin is wiped out. So, al-ibadat, Ahle Zahir's ibadat and worship, formal acts of worship are done for recompense and jaza, reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is in a hadith as well. لِلصَّائِمِ فَرْحَةٌ عِنْدَ فِطْرِهِ وَفَرْحَةٌ عِنْدَ لِقَاءِ رَبِّهِ الصَّوْمُ لِي وَأَنَا أَجْزِي بِهِ. And الْحَسَنَةُ بِعَشْرِ أَمْثَالِهَا. For $1 you get minimum $10 reward. It could go up to $700 and it could go more. So ibadat are for mu'awazat, recompense, jaza saza. Wal muhabbatu lil qurubat. And muhabbat and love is for nearness. Meaning, when a person loves Allah, he loves Allah to get close to Him. He doesn't want any reward for that love. Even if I don't get any reward, I don't care. I just want to be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even in this dunya as well. If you love someone, you want to stay close to them. Or this is why we should love Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam and the family of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And we are not allowed to give zakat, sadaqat to the family of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. We are instructed to offer hadiyah and gifts to him. And same is the case with our ulama kiram. With our ulama kiram as well, we don't give them sadaqah, zakat, we give them hadiyah and gift. Because we want to be near and close to our mashayikh and our ulama. Gift is for muhabbat and sadaqah is for reward. So sadaqah should be given to the masakin, ghuraba, fuqara to get reward from Allah. But to the mashayikh, not sadaqah, hadiyah and gift should be given. So this is the meaning of formal acts of worship are for recompense, reward, jaza, and love is done for qurb and nearness and proximity and closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. क्या गड़बड़ है यार? इसको ऑफ करके नए नाम से ऑन कर दो, फिर ठीक हो जाएगा. अच्छा, फोन बंद हो गया, दिमाग खराब है फोन का. अब दिमाग ठीक हुआ, इसका सपाटे की जरूरत है. अअददतु लिइबादी अस्सालिहीन मा ला ऐनुन रअत वला उज़ुनुन समिअत वला खतरा अला क़ल्बि बशर लम्मा अरादूनी अअतैतुहुम मा ला ऐनुन रअत वला उज़ुनुन समिअत. ओ भाई, sit down, yeah, you keep moving around, you disturb me. Naeem, you want to pray Quran, go behind there, कर्टन के पीछे बैठो. यहां बैठो तो 100% तवज्जो इधर होनी चाहिए. जी, this is connected to the previous sentence. What was the previous hidayat? Ibadat is for reward and love is for closeness, qurb. In the words of Allah, I have prepared for my righteous servants that which no eye has ever seen, no ear has ever heard, and nor ever occurred to any human heart. When they wished for me, they intended me, I was their goal. I gave them that which no eye has ever seen and of which no ear has ever heard. In the words of Allah, أعددت لعبادي الصالحين ما لا عين رأت ولا أذن سمعت ولا خطر على قلب بشر. This is a hadith Qudsi. It's in Sahih al-Bukhari. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, قال الله تعالى, Allah says, I have prepared for my righteous servants, ibadi as-salihin, such ni'mats, gifts, blessings, which no eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no heart has ever thought of. Bal ma atla'akum Allahu alayhi. Leave that aside which Allah has already informed you. These are things which Allah has not even spoken about. So we have been told in Quran about many ni'mats of Jannat, in Surah Waqiyah, Surah Dahr, in many surahs. So those ni'mats, put them aside. Besides those ni'mat, above those ni'mat, so many ni'mats and blessings and gifts which no one has ever thought of, and no one has heard of, and no one has seen. Not even Jibreel alayhi salam or any angel has seen them. And then Huzur Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Iqra'u in shi'tum, fala ta'lamu nafsun ma ukhfiya lahum min qurrati a'yun." No soul knows what delight Allah has stored for it. This ayat is in Surah As-Sajdah. So, Shaikh is connecting this with the previous sentence that Allah has kept huge reward for you in the hereafter. And then he says, in other words, Allah says, Lamma araduni, when they wanted me, they wished for me, they didn't want anything except me. Their yearning, their endeavor, their thoughts, their actions, their words, everything was for me. They wanted me, nothing else. Then I gave them what no eye has seen and no ear has heard. So our ibadat should be solely for the sake of Allah. Whatever Allah is going to give, He is going to give. Sayyidina Ali karramallahu wajhahu said, those who do ibadat just to get Jannat are businessmen. They are doing a business with Allah. And those who do ibadat because they are scared of Jahannam, they are slaves. Because slaves only work when they are scared. When the master is not alert, they just go lazy and stop working. But those who work for the sake of Allah, not for Jannat, not for fear of Jahannam, are the real worshippers. Their goal is none but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With all our ibadat, our attention should be focused on Allah. Oh Allah, it is you who I want, your pleasure, your rida. I want you only, nothing else. And if you get Allah, you've got everything. If you lose Allah, you've lost everything. This is where the incident of Sultan Mahmud Ghaznavi, rahmatullahi alayhi's slave, attendant, khadim, Ayaz, comes to mind. People used to complain about Ayaz. They were jealous. Why does Sultan Mahmud Ghaznavi rahmatullahi alayhi love him so much? We are also here. He doesn't show us that love. So Sultan wanted to show them. And he put lots of, diamonds and money and wealth in one room. And then he said, whoever wants to take any of these gifts, take them. They are allowed for you. So all the attendants rushed. Someone took the largest diamond, money, gold, silver, this, that. Ayaz stood up and came near the king, the Sultan, and put his hand on the king. So they said, look at Ayaz, he's stupid. Sultan told us to get whatever we want. He's not getting anything, he's just going to the king. So when everyone settled down, Sultan asked, Ayaz, why did you not get anything? And he said, I came to you, I got you, what else do I want? If I've got you, I've got everything. This is, when they wanted me, I gave them that which no eye has seen and no ear has heard. Allah will bless. When your main goal is Allah alone, that is when Allah's rahmah and blessings will shower upon you. إذا أفناك عن هواك بالحكمة وعن إرادتك بالعلم صرت عبدا صرفا لا هوى لك ولا إرادة. When He makes you extinct from your desires through hikmat, divine wisdom, and from your irada and self-will through ilm and divine knowledge, you will become a slave with undivided loyalty, with neither desire of your own nor any will of your own. What do you understand from there? When you get to the stage of fana'iyat, when He annihilates you from your desires through hikmat and wisdom, by giving you hikmat and wisdom. Wisdom and hikmat is needed to make you extinct from your desires, to move you away from your desires. Otherwise we have lots of desires. Money, name, fame, latest gadgets, mobiles, Samsung Galaxy, iPad, this. Kids want games, new games, this, that. Ladies want different things. Latest makeup, shake-up, purses, all these make them happy. These are all hawa nafs. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes you extinct from your hawa and your desires by giving you hikmat and wisdom, He puts wisdom in your heart, and that hikmat and wisdom removes all your hawa and your khahishat and your desires. وَعَنْ إِرَادَتِكَ بِالْعِلْمِ, and He makes you extinct from your own irada and will by giving you ilm and knowledge, divine knowledge, knowledge of Allah, not knowledge of dunya. Knowledge of dunya is information, not information. Ilm, divine ilm, Allah's ilm of Allah, ma'rifat of Allah. So when He makes you extinct and fana'iyat from your own irada by giving you ilm, your irada, you don't make your intentions, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes your intention for you. So when He gives you fana'iyat from your hawa and desires by giving you hikmat, and when He gives you fana'iyat and annihilates you from your own irada by giving you ilm and ma'rifat, that is when sirta abdan sarfan, you will become a khalis, pure slave of Allah, a slave with undivided loyalty. Pure, sarf means khalis. And at that time when you become the slave of Allah, then la hawa laka wa la iradata, you won't have any desire nor any will of your own. All your desires will become subservient to the will of Allah. Your will become subservient and connected and under the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is when you show that loyalty, and when you get rid of your desires and all your iradas, and everything is for none but Allah. When you get to that fana'iyat stage, and Allah gives you that fana'iyat by removing all your hawa and all your irada. Hawa is removed with hikmat, and irada is removed by divine knowledge, ilm and marifat. Then you become a khalis and pure slave of Allah. Here abd is tarjuma kiya hai servant. Over here abd ka tarjuma slave karna chahiye, because being a slave of Allah is a privilege. We are privileged to be slave of Allah. He owns us, He created us. Then you will become a pure and khalis and slave of Allah with undivided loyalty. You will have no desire of your own nor any will of your own. فَحِينَئِذٍ يكشف لك عن نفسك فتضمحل العبودية في الوحدانية فيبقى العبد فيفنى العبد ويبقى الرب تبارك وتعالى. It is then that the veil will be lifted from yourself, so that servitude will vanish and disappear into oneness. Then the servant will be annihilated, the slave will be annihilated, and the Lord Almighty and glorious is He will remain. Connected to the previous sentence, when you get to that stage of fana'iyat, then fahina izin, it is then yakshifu laka an nafsika, Allah will remove the curtain from your nafs, from yourself. Allah will remove all the curtains from yourself. There will be no veil, no curtain, and everything will be opened and exposed for you. Kashf, kushuf, karamat will take place. Kashf, everything is open to you. Then your ubudiyyat, your ibadat and your ubudiyyat and your servitude, your khidmat, your worship will vanish into the wahdaniyat, oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning your attention will not be towards your worship, your attention will be towards the divine oneness of Allah. You won't pay attention to your worship. You won't realize you're worshipping. You will only be in front of your master, your creator. Your mind will not be to your qiyam or qiraat or ruku or sujood. Your mind will be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when He takes you to that stage, that it is then that He will lift the veils from yourself, and your servitude and ibadat and ubudiyyat will disappear and vanish into the wahdaniyat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When that happens, then فَيَفْنَ الْعَبْدُ وَيَبْقَى الرَّبُّ. The abd, the slave, will be annihilated and the Rabb will remain. उस वक्त फनाइयत के स्टेज पर पहुंचे, then the abd and ubudiyat and servitude and your slavery and you being slave and everything, your mind will not be towards that. Rabb will remain. Everything will be lillah, fillah, billah, with Allah, for the sake of Allah, in the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you get to that stage. बहुत डीप बातें हैं, अल्लाह हमको नसीब करे। ये तसव्वुफ के मकामात हैं। फरमाते हैं अश्शरीअतु कुल्लुहा क़ब्ज़ुन वल इल्मु कुल्लुहु बस्तुन वल मारिफतु कुल्लुहा दलालुन. The whole of the sacred law, Sharia, is constriction, and the whole of knowledge, ilm, is expansion, and the whole of direct experience, ma'rifah, is toying, spoiling, playful teasing. क्या समझ पड़ी? Allah. The whole of sacred law Sharia is constriction, qabz. So Sharia, guidance, law, halal, haram, jaiz, najaiz, faraz, wajib, sunnat, mustahab. This is Sharia law. The whole of Sharia law is qabz. It keeps you under control. When you grab hold of something, you've got it under control. So the Sharia law is qabz. It is constriction. It constricts and restricts and keeps you under control. We are bound by the Sharia. कल आपने पूछा था ना डॉक्टर साहब, some people say, oh, I am above the Sharia law. I don't need to pray now. I just do a little bit of tasbih and muraqabah and my salah is done. I don't need to stand up and do ruku and sujood. I'm over, beyond that level. That's not right. Shariat, it keeps you under control. It restricts you, constricts you. Each and every person is bound by the laws of Sharia until the last breath. Even when you are in your last moments on deathbed, you still have to pray if it's namaz time. And this is why many people die while praying namaz, because they don't want to let go of the namaz. So Sharia is sacred law, is constriction, qabz, and the whole of ilm and knowledge is expansion. Ilm, meaning ilm of Allah, ma'rifat of Allah, is expansion. It has no limits, because Allah Himself has no limits. So His ilm and His ma'rifat has no limits. It expands and expands and expands. Your ma'rifat and your knowledge of Allah keeps on increasing every day, every hour, every minute. The more you know Allah, the more your ma'rifat, your ilm increases. So ilm is, and the whole of knowledge is expansion. And wal ma'rifatu kulluha dalalun, and the whole of ma'rifah, direct experience, is toying, spoiling, playful teasing. When you get the ma'rifat and gnosis of Allah, then there is sometimes toying, spoiling, playful teasing. In Urdu, it's called naz nakhre. That is when you get to that stage, you start doing naz nakhre with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah loves that as well. When you love your child like Nauman loves Hammad, and your Hammad does some naz nakhre, Nauman will like it. He's my child, I love him. He's doing nas. Even if he says something which is not right, no man will still say, no problem. Good, I like it. When you get that ma'rifat and that qurb, special qurb, then your muamala with Allah is of dalal, toying, spoiling, playful teasing. Sometimes the arif begins to tease Allah and Allah teases him. When they get to that stage. Rabia Basriya, Rahmatullahi Ta'ala alayha, was a great arifa, waliya. And her connection with Allah was this type of connection of nas, dalal, nakhre. So once she had some water in her hand and some fire. So someone said, Rabia, where are you going? He said, I'm going with this fire to burn the Jannah and this water to extinguish the Jahannam, because these two have turned people away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People do things for these two, not for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And sometimes, when they are in a ajib state, they would say, oh Allah, you must do this. You have no choice. You'll have to do it. And Allah will say, okay, you said it, I'll do it. This is where the hadith comes, Inna min ibadillahi man law aqsama ala Allahi la abarrahu. Rubba ash'atha aghbara madfu'in bil abwab law aqsama ala Allah la abarrahu. Many people are with disheveled hair, with dust on their clothes, but their condition and connection with Allah is such that if they said a qasam on Allah, Allah will make that qasam come true. That is that connection of ma'rifat and naz with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We shouldn't do that. It is their condition. We can't take water and fire to burn Jannah and extinguish Jahannam. That's not. This is just a playful teasing. So, Shariat keeps you under control. And ilm gives you expansion. And ma'rifat brings with it playful teasing, toying, spoiling. And like Norman might have spoiled Hamad or Humaid. So when you get that ma'rifat, you get that playful spoiling and teasing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a meaning over here. Then Shaykh has used over here two words, qabz and bast. In tasawwuf, these two words are used for a certain condition of a salik. Qabz is when you are constricted, when your heart is, in the state of constriction, restriction, where you don't feel like doing anything. You're down, you don't even feel like praying tahajjud or reading Quran. You're just not all there. You have to force yourself to do it. But I have to do it, I have to pray. Then sometimes people ask, Maulana Sahab, I used to get really good feelings with ibadat. I no longer get that feeling. How can I get it back? So this state is called the state of qabz. And bast, expansion, is the condition when everything happens smoothly. You love your ibadat. You don't have to force yourself. And you love it. You get that dhyan, istihzar, attention, focus. You're enjoying your worship. That's called bast. At the moment in Ramzan, Alhamdulillah, we are going through bast. We are reading Quran, we're doing things smoothly. But as soon as Eid chant comes out, then we are on a nosedive and free fall. Then Jamaat becomes hard as well. Zohar Jamaat, really hard to go to the masjid. If we are told after Eid that we have to pray 20 rakat Tarawih tonight, then I have any percent. But in Ramzan, 20 rakat Tarawih is easy. Right? This is barakat of Ramzan as well, alhamdulillah. But in Ramzan, we are going through this bast, smoothness. And aram say, smoothly we are doing everything. We are enjoying the ibadat, alhamdulillah, getting the pleasure of the ibadat. But then will come the qabz. One of the reasons for that qabz will be shaitan will be out as well. He'll be working hard on you. So the qabz comes in. So you have to control yourself and do the ibadah, even if you don't like it. Now Sufiyai Kiram say, why does this happen? They say both halat are necessary to keep us under control. Because if it's always bust and always, pleasure and enjoying, then there is possibility that takabbur and pride and fakhr could creep in. I am something. I am doing lots of ibadat. I am the best. I am the greatest. So this takabbur could creep in with bust. So sometimes Allah gives us qabs to bring us down. You know everything. It is me who's giving you the tawfiq. And if it was qabz all the time, no bust, and always you have to force yourself, then you lose hope. There is no point in ibadat here. I always have to force myself. And then you'll give up the ibadat. So both halat are necessary. Qabz is also necessary, bust is also necessary. Sometimes it's qabz, other times it's bust to keep us in the balance. In fact, Hazrat Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanvi Rahmatullah Alayhi wrote that if we think carefully, the sawab and reward of doing ibadat in qabz is more than sawab of doing ibadat in bast. Why? Because in bast there is hazzun nafs, but in qabz there is no hazzun nafs. Because when you are in the state of bast, then your nafs is also enjoying that ibadah. He is getting the pleasure as well. But when you are in the state of qabz, the nafs has no share in that ibadah. Because you are suppressing your nafs. You are forcing it. No, you have to do it. So you are opposing, you are doing mujahada with your nafs to go to the Zohar Jamaat, to go to the Asr Jamaat, to go to the Fajr Namaz. And this mujahada will bring you more sawab. It will take you more closer to Allah. Because this is the root of qurb of Allah, that you put one foot on your nafs and the other foot is in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maulana Rum Rahmatullah Alayhi said this, Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi Rahmatullah Alayhi, that Ya'lamullah ke rahe khuda dur az do qadam neist. By Allah, the path to Allah is not more than 2 steps. If you want to get to Allah, you only need to take 2 steps. 2 steps and you are with Allah. 1 step on your nafs and the 2nd step is in the court of Allah. You control your nafs, your desires, your ego, and you are in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You only need to take 2 steps. This is why Allah gave us this nafs, so that we can get the qurb of Allah, the taraqqi. Every time we struggle with the nafs, we progress, we progress, we progress, we progress. This is why once Sari Saqati Rahmatullahi Alayhi made dua, oh Allah, this nafs, this ego, isne sari musibat kar rakhi hai, he's put me through perils. Take my nafs away from me. I just want to do your ibadat. I don't need to have to struggle with my nafs. Allah accepted his dua. Okay, we've taken your nafs away from you. Now he's doing ibadat. And he likes doing the ibadat. However, he notices that his progress has reduced. It stopped. It's not on the level it used to be. So he asked Allah, oh Allah, what's happening? And Allah said to him, the source of your taraqqi was your nafs. You've taken that out. So that taraqqi has reduced. It stopped. I said, well, I'm sorry. Put my nafs back with me. It is the source of taraqqi. Allah put this nafs. Allah gave us 2 enemies, nafs and shaitan. When we fight with them, we get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to struggle with our nafs and with shaitan and get to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, we were talking about the 2 words, qabz and bast, which are the halat of a salik, a murid. When you get bayat to a shaykh, you go through these conditions. In the beginning, through the tawajjuh of your Shaykh, you feel like doing ibadat. Sometimes you get kushuf, karamat, you see anwar, you smell fragrances, and you see nice dreams, and you feel this real good feeling. But after some time, maybe few weeks or months, that feeling goes down a little bit. And then you say, why am I not getting the feeling? When I go bayat, I was really on a high. I'm no longer on the high. Bhai, this high doesn't remain forever. You have to stay in the middle. These ups and downs come. So your Shaykh will control you. We also went through this stage, you know, in the presence of my Shaykh, my Hazrat Nawarallahu Marqadu in Darul. I was first bayat to Hazrat Shaykh. Hazrat Shaykh died and I did ruju to my Hazrat. So at that time when we were doing zikr, sometimes you could see the stars. When we were in namaz, we could see the stars. Because we were on a high. So, lekin it doesn't stay forever. It stays for some time and then you come down and then you have to glide yourself, navigate yourself through and balance your life with your family, your wife, your kids, and your ibadat and your mujahadat, your zikr, your teaching, your education. We are after all human beings, not machines. So we have to create that balance and learn to, you know, keep floating in both conditions, qabz and bast. So both are necessary. Qabz is necessary as well, so that we don't get takabbur. Bast is necessary as well, so that we don't get despondent and lose hope. Both are necessary. Just keep doing what you need to do. Don't give up amal. A'mal are the root of everything. Mujahada, riyadat, self-struggle, discipline is necessary. Discipline yourself. Keep doing what you need to do. So this is a little bit explanation about the words qabz and bast. We will move on next inshallah. Tariqatuna kulluha muhabbatun la amal wa fana'un la baqa. إذا دخلت في العمل كنت لك وإذا دخلت في المحبة كنت له. العابد راء لعبادته والمحب راء لمحبته. अभी बहुत बाकी है, फिर पढ़ेंगे इंशाल्लाह. सुभानअल्लाह बिहम्दिही सुभानकल्लाहुम्मा व बिहम्दिक नशहदु अन ला इलाहा इल्ला अंता नस्तगफिरुका व नतूबु इलैक. मैं सोचता हूँ रिसाला ख़त्म हो जाए, ख़त्म ही नहीं हो रहा. ये 5 सफ़े का रिसाला है और 5 दिन का गया हमारा. अभी मतन कब पढ़ेंगे, शरह कब पढ़ेंगे? अभी तो हमारी शरह हो रही है. फिर शरह पढ़ेंगे शेख ज़ैन ज़करिया अल अंसारी की, इब्न अतिया की.